All right, welcome back, FanDuelers, back with another episode of Grade A Fantasy. I am back with part two of the Week 3 preview for the full slate on FanDuel. And I'm glad I saved the running back portion till today. As you all know, a lot of news has happened with injuries in the games last night. So let's jump right into it. But before that, let's start off with this. Once again, my contest has opened, so it's locked for the week. If you would like to, first off, like and subscribe, but most importantly, leave that FanDuel name in the comment section to join my league. $10 entry, Legends of DFS on FanDuel that I run every week. Once again, drop the FanDuel name, and I'll be sure to put you in and send you the invite so you can join my league next week. I'm just doing my best, me and the friends and the family, just trying to do the best to increase the size of the league, make it a bigger prize pool. Something small. $10 every Sunday is affordable, we feel so. And like I said, we like to do special things during our big slates, especially towards the end of the season. We like to jump it off 25 to, end the full slate of the season with a bang. So, once again, drop that FanDuel name in the comment section if you'd like to join, and you'll be on for week 4. Week 3 is now closed. Now, let's jump right into the running backs. We're just going to start here. We'll start with Austin Eckler at the top. Once again, the theme of this week is FanDuel has finally seen the patterns of what these teams are, and these guys are priced up. 9,800. Austin Eckler is the most expensive on the slate. He's 100 more than Justin Jefferson. But in this case, Austin Eckler is not likely to play, so he's most likely out. So pretty much the popular chalk play, 400 cheaper, would be Tony Pollard against Arizona. Tony Pollard getting massive usage, and I'm talking about running. I don't even have to tap on Tony Pollard to show the stats. He's getting the goal line looks. He is the main ball carrier for Dallas, and with a great matchup against Arizona, he is definitely worth 9,400. You saw what Barkley did last week, and hey, Tony Pollard, I mean, he'll be great for GPPs. He'll be great for cash. So Tony Pollard definitely a solid pick. You got Bijan Robinson right there, 9,000 even. He's already shot up. The Bijan hype train is in full effect. He has a nice matchup at Detroit. Derrick Henry. Yes, that Cleveland defense is solid, but Derrick Henry, I'm confident in the $8,400 Derrick Henry against Cleveland. Aaron Jones is most likely not going to play with that hamstring, but it's still not clear. You're going to have to wait on news on that. My personal favorite play is Travis Etienne Jr. going against one of the worst rush defenses at 8,000. He's a definite big play. In a way, he's a must play for me. I think he's great for cash because out of all these options up here, yes, Tony Pollard probably has one of the better matchups against one of the worst defenses at Arizona, but for the past 3 years, historically, it's a run funnel. If it's not the Bears, it's Houston that are one of the worst rush defenses in the league. And Travis Etienne is getting a lot of touches in the passing game, so he's definitely somebody that I'm going to be keying in on this week. As you can see, he's getting the targets and the run. Do not worry about that Q tag there. Do not worry about that at all. Travis Etienne left the game early because of cramping. So that's not doing anything. They're just making sure massage out the cramps. Keep that man hydrated. Etienne should be good to go. Kenneth Walker is also in another nice position himself. He's now at 7,600 after being, I think Kenneth Walker, he's another person that took a jump. A lot of people from that Lions game took a serious jump. If y'all saw the last video, like I said, I had my little joke with Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds went from 59 to 7 even. Kenneth Walker, I think, jumped exactly $1,000. I think $900. Kenneth Walker last week was 67 if I remember, because I did have some Kenneth Walker in some lineups last week. Like I said, Seattle loves running the ball. A little bit of an outlier in that Rams game, him getting some screen passes, but they were getting to Geno Smith, so Geno had to get that ball in his hand, and the first person he had to get it to Gino was pretty careful with the ball, not committing too many turnovers in his first 2 weeks. So it was a quick dump off to Kenneth Walker. Do not be fooled by that target. Week 2 against Detroit was more realistic if he gets targets like that. It's very rare Kenneth Walker will get like 5 targets in the game. But the rush value, the goal line value, he is the workhorse. Kenneth Walker's another one of my favorite plays. Brian Robinson against Buffalo at home. That's more like a GPP play, to be honest. Because I think Brian Robinson, that Buffalo defense can be run on. Now, the question is, what happens to him if somehow Buffalo does blow this out or get at least a 2-touchdown lead late in the game? That brings down Brian Robinson's value a bit. But that's definitely a GPP play. If Washington defense can keep it close, that keeps Brian Robinson in the game. Because Brian Robinson, even though they kind of use him in a role, Brian Robinson can get targets and do damage from the receiving end. He is a two-way back, even though they do like using him as the bruiser and using Antonio Gibson as the pass catcher. David Montgomery, he's still questionable. It's trending that he'll most likely be out. So him and Jahmyr Gibbs are literally right next to each other. Jahmyr Gibbs is like my number 3, my personal number 3 back. Me personally, the way I've been building my lineups, I actually hate the fact this week that I can only use 3 running backs because there's actually 4 running backs that I like the best. But now, unfortunately, with the Chubb injury and now Jamaal Williams with a hamstring injury, and not only did he get a hamstring injuries are bad on Sunday, but late Monday night, that's one less day to recover. For a slate that I've been talking about, a lot of people are priced up. Well, guess what? Because of the injuries, value has opened up, and it has opened up big in the running back slot. We will get to that in a bit. As you can see, that's how I scroll down. There you go with the Jamaal Williams. Another GPP stand. Carolina can help protect their young rookie quarterback with a little rushing from Miles Sanders. Going against Seattle, that's a solid play right there. Tyler Algier, like I said, they're running him, and I understand Bijan is up there, but let's be honest here. The Falcons are a running team. Forget the stats. If I could, I'll just blank out everything. Bijan is up there, okay? Bijan's top 5 in salary, but Tyler Algier has 31 carries. Not touches, people. Touches when you combine carries and receptions. I'm not even thinking about the 3 receptions he got week 1. He has 31 carries. They're going to run the ball. Even though Bijan is the man, Tyler Algier is going to be involved. Unless and then when one of these guys get hurt, they're the automatic chalk the way Atlanta runs. So I'm glad both of these guys are here because that's almost chalk that you have to eat. It will be highly riskily strategic to fade if either one of these guys will get hurt. But Tyler Algier is definitely within play this week. Zach Moss, hey man, he came back and he literally just took over the backfield like I said last week. He was catching and running the ball. I'm pretty sure if I remember properly. Yeah, 4 targets, 4 receptions for 19, 18 for 80 and a touchdown. That's a nice matchup. At Baltimore, not the best matchup, but the fact that he has all that value. Now, here's the thing. Anthony Richardson or Gardner Minshew. Richardson is still in the concussion protocol, but Zach Moss is still playable. And then when we get here, Alexander Mattison has a favorable matchup. I think this is the week that Alexander Mattison kind of breaks out. It's been a rough 2 weeks for him. But he did go against solid, run defense. He had the Buccaneers week 1. I didn't talk Madison up that week because, went against Buccaneers week 1. Didn't talk about Madison week 2 because he wasn't on the main slate and ran into a tough Philly defense. That's also like a top 8, top 7 defense, run defense anyway, the past few years. Gus Edwards, he was the guy that I kind of figured would have gotten most of the run or at least profited more off the J.K. Dobbins injury. He did. 6,200. He didn't explode. I think Gus was around 59 or 6,000 even last week. So 10 for 62 and a touchdown. If he does that again, that's basically a 2x times his salary. This is the week, ladies and gentlemen. Last week, if there's one thing I want to put, pat myself on the back or give myself a nice little round of applause, I told you last week was not the week to play Joshua Kelly. I pretty much faded him when I played the 25 max last week, as in 2 lineups out of 25, and he didn't do a damn thing. But this is a more favorable matchup. I think this is the week that you should really, really jump on the Joshua Kelly train. Last week was not it. This is the week to do so. As we scroll down, and there's my fourth favorite. He's my fourth favorite running back in the week. This is grade A's picks right here. Isaiah Pacheco. Now, the only thing that can screw this up is if with the bad... Now, Chicago's the bad rush defense. But if the defense doesn't show up at all and Mahomes throws for like 4 or 5 touchdowns, which is possible, and let's say they're up 35, whatever, 35-10, 35-9, whatever the case is, if by any chance that game goes that way, Pacheco could see himself sitting by mid-third quarter, and then it's going to Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jerick McKinnon, because he's the workhorse in the backfield. For those who are afraid of this, I'm not going to be too afraid. I'm aware of it, but he pretty much leads the running backs in the carry department, and like I said, he is a receiving threat. I like Isaiah Pacheco against a bad Bears defense. Plus, at 5,700, he releases some stress off some higher priced running backs. Now we get to the nitty gritty here. Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford is pretty much slated to be the main guy this week, for the near future. Now, Jerome Ford, Demetric Felton. I mean, the Chubb injury was horrible. I mean, Nick Chubb is, fantasy favorite of a lot of people. But like I said, it's fantasy. You got to move on to the next guy. And when it comes to opportunity, here's where the value opens up. Now, do I think Jerome Ford becomes the entire workhorse? No, I don't think so. I think the fact that he does have a tough matchup, but Jerome Ford, like I said, Deshaun Watson still hasn't got it together yet. So who says he can't drop it off? He can drop it off to Ford or Felton in the flat. I mean, these are things that are highly possible. Pierre Strong is also looking like a candidate to maybe get some touches. But right now, the fact that they already came out and said that pretty much said that Jerome Ford is going to be the man, he's definitely the guy that you're going to have to go with. I mean, yes, sometimes starting at running back technically means he's getting the first carry. But when you're known as the feature back, then yeah, Jerome Ford can run and catch. Matter of fact, I played Cleveland in the preseason a couple of times, and they have a nice young core of backups, sort of, especially the wide receiver Austin Watkins. I'm definitely dying to see how he turns out. He helped me cash very well in the Hall of Fame game about a month ago. So Cleveland does have some talent. Now, the news is, here's the main news. And that's another guy I did like. I don't think did he make the team, or was he on the practice squad? Yes, there you go. Yeah, this is the guy that I want y'all to work. This is the guy that I really want y'all to keep an eye out for. Now, not fantasy-wise, not this week, because obviously being elevated from the practice squad. This kid has some talent. Hassan Hall and, Austin Watkins Jr., the wide receiver. These two guys highly impressed during the preseason. So this is why I feel that I think the Browns should be fine. Yes, there are rumors that Kareem Hunt might come back. The last statement made by the head coach was that Jerome Ford is going to be the main guy. You're going to have Pierre Strong. They're still working on looking for another running back. So does that mean Hassan Hall probably just comes up, since, it's kind of risky just to have 2 running backs for a game. You at least need 3. You need at least that. Just like how a team needs 5 or 6 wide receivers, because sometimes that 6 wide receiver is the backup that comes in for an injury, and he's also the punt and kick returner. But that kid Hassan Hall is somebody y'all should watch out for. But right now, it's mainly Jerome Ford with Pierre Strong probably going to be relieving on third downs. Hasn't done much yet. But Jerome Ford definitely, without a doubt, is looking like he's looking like a 3-down back. He has the capabilities of being a 3-down back. So, ran for 106, caught 3 or 4 targets, got the touchdown. The question is, do they bring somebody else in? That's still not clear. But if I'm telling you this, I'm letting you know this right now. I really feel that the Browns don't need to bring anybody in. That kid Hassan Hall is that good. I think they're fine with just bringing that guy up and then just working him in. And I think Hassan Hall could eventually work his way up, show some flashes, and actually become the number 2. That's my feeling on Hassan Hall. He is that good. I actually seen a decent amount of him in the preseason, and he is legit that good. So, if that's the case, we'll have to just wait and see. And as we continue down, Jamaal Williams is now hurt. So now with Jamaal Williams hurt, even more value pops in. With Jamaal Williams done, we're going to have to go all the way here just to not have to scroll all the way down. And Tony Jones had the 2 touchdowns last night. That's the good thing. Now you got ultimate value here. You got Keandre Miller with looking to make his debut. He ran full practice. He has no side effects for the hamstring injury at all. So he's ready to make his debut. Does ready to make his debut mean they're ready to have him and Tony Jones kind of split? Or does Tony Jones take the lead and they don't want to put out the full load on Keandre Miller? They don't know yet. That's just news that you're going to have to wait and see. But as you can see right here, Browns and Saints running backs are looking like the ultimate play for Cavs games. And they're probably the ultimate play. They're probably the ultimate play for GPPs as well. Because if you get one of these guys right, or if they do something, they just got to do something to cash off at 4,600. So if you ask me, you still got to cheap Joshua Kelly. But he's just not as cheap as Keandre and Tony Jones. And they're damn sure not as cheap as the Browns running back core. The only thing I'm gonna warn you guys again. The reason why I won't jump on the Jerome Ford train yet, even though Jerome Ford can pay it off in passing. Once again, look at the team that they're playing. I warned everybody last week about the Joshua Kelly going against the Tennessee front 7. How you beat Tennessee is attack the back 4 if they're a nickel back 5. You do not want to overly go crazy with the Cleveland hype of Jerome Ford. I understand maybe you want to pick him up in season long or whatever. Fine, that's all good. But the Saints is where the value is. So I'm just saying I'm going to once again stick with my guns. Will I have pieces of these guys? Yes, I will. But I would definitely be favoring more the Saints running backs over the Browns running back because the matchup is just better. Don't get me wrong, Green Bay's defense is decent, but against the run, I mean, these guys should be able to do fine. And also, Tony Jones is also kind of a dual threat back. If he gets the opportunity to play the whole game, Tony Jones is somebody you could throw out into the flat and let him rock. He does have the receiving capability. Like I said, obviously that was limited because, like I said, I think Jamaal Williams got injured halfway. So 12 for 34, 2 touchdowns. He did get 2 targets. So, like I said, you don't need much from these guys. You really don't. But, like I said, value has now opened up. Because as you can see, the running backs up here, they are highly, highly expensive. And after that, I don't really think there's really much to say. I know I have my personal phase in Isaiah Pacheco. But for GPP plays, I'm not going to lie to you, I kind of like Khalil Herbert. That could be garbage time, and that could be a lot of Justin Fields thrown in the flat late or throwing out in the slot while everybody runs down and maybe Khalil Herbert picks up a blitz and then gets out into the middle of the field. There are some GPP plays here because even if KC does blow out Chicago, for fantasy purposes, there are pieces of Chicago that I do like. And as you keep traveling down here, there's not really much here. Like I said, there goes Pierre Strong. There was talk about Tank Bigsby for a bit, but once again, like I said, Travis Etienne is 100% going to play. Those were just cramps. Do not worry about that Q tag. By the end of the week, that Q tag will disappear when the official injury report, I think, drops. What is it? I think for the Friday practices. So, let's move on and let's get to the quarterbacks, and then we'll end the video with tight ends. So now, quarterbacks are pretty priced up, but not by much. Josh Allen, 88. I'm surprised after last week's game, he didn't get the 9,000 treatment. Mahomes, I mean, in Sportsbook, I think the Chiefs saw like minus 700 money line or something like that. I think they're the ones with the biggest odds this week. I think there's a few big spreads. I forgot who it was. I didn't look at it exactly. And I'm definitely going to do my best to do my first grade A Sportsbook. I definitely want to do that. But this week the spreads are huge. I remember seeing a minus 400, a minus 700, and then there was a couple of minus like 2 something closer to minus 300. So sportsbooks are expecting a lot of blowouts. But yes, Patrick Mahomes against Chicago. This is one of those things where if the offense is sputtering again, don't be surprised if Patrick Mahomes runs for over 40 to 50 yards and could scramble in for a touchdown. Because if that Chiefs offense is still trying to find their way, Mahomes is going to definitely do his best to scramble and create plays. And then obviously against Chicago, yes, we'll go with tight ends. I do like Travis Kelce this week. If there's a week that I want to pay up, for tight end, if I wanted to, if I'm not going to Kelce, I'm going right to Hockenson. After Hockenson, I'm dropped once again. I'm just going all the way down. But we'll talk about that later. Justin Herbert in the highest game total of the week at Minnesota. Once again, last week he was a low-owned stack, but this week he will definitely most likely be the popular stack, which is why I'm looking at stuff like maybe people will look at the Mahomes, and Mahomes won't be the most popular. Justin Herbert will probably be the most owned quarterback here. That's why I'm very interested in seeing like if people like Patrick Mahomes last week. It seems like last week the popular guys will probably be the more low-owned guys. Now, Goff wasn't super popular, but I know Jared Goff this week home against Atlanta with some of the matchups that these other quarterbacks have. Jared Goff, he's in a nice matchup at home against Atlanta. Dak Prescott's probably going to be heavily owned as well. Kirk Cousins, like I said, he's going to be in that high game. I look for him to get into high. He definitely should be double-digit owned. So that leaves guys like opportunities like Tua, since all the attention are probably going to go to these main 3 guys, and then you got like Kirk Cousins, Dak, and then even Trevor Lawrence in great matchups at Houston. But people like Jared Goff, it looks ugly, but Deshaun Watson at 7,500 pass funnel defense against Tennessee. Like I said, if these guys, if the Browns running backs don't fulfill what they need to do, then you might need some Njoku and some Amari Cooper and some Donovan People-Jones stacks with Deshaun Watson. Geno Smith, I like his matchup. Carolina has a stout defense, but they suffer some injuries. They'll be a little tired being on short rest playing Monday night. I think Geno, once again, you could double stack or just try and figure out which wide receiver. Once again, is it going to be Lockett? Is it going to be Metcalf? If I keep scrolling down, look here, man. To me, if you want GPP, like I said, that Jacksonville offense is not the best offense in the world. And let me tell you something. They are letting CJ. I spoke about these guys in the wide receiver portion in part 1, and I don't care about the fantasy points. Look at the stats. Then CJ Stroud almost has 100 pass attempts. He damn near has 100 pass attempts in two games. So they let him wing the ball, which, if you were doubting what I said before, I said after week 1, Robert Woods was a good play. Well, Nico Collins, Robert Woods, they're holding it down because they're allowed CJ Stroud's pass attempts makes them fantasy comparable. If you're throwing it 40-something times, yeah, Nico Collins is going to get 10 to 12 targets. Yes, my man Robert Woods is going to continue to get double-digit targets. So far, he's had 9 and 10. And then they did lose somebody. I forgot his name. But there's a new slot receiver who's real cheap, who's in the 5,000s. CJ Stroud is definitely something that I'm looking for at GPP. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff. Now here is the one thing. People might think I'm crazy, but I think this might be the week where they just need to let him get back to normal. And this is the week that I'm curious about him. Even in a blowout, who cares if he doesn't win? But as long as he doesn't turn over the ball, one interception, fine. It's Justin Fields. But if he could get a couple passes here and there, and they let him loose and let him run the ball against KC, yes, KC defense does look good. But if they let this man scramble, Justin Fields will be the GPP because we fantasy players know what we're doing, and we fantasy players also have we have a bit of a long-term memory, not short-term memory. There's a lot of fantasy players that are going to look at Justin Fields and say, nah, the way he's playing, I'm just going to avoid that. He's going to get blown out. He's probably going to sit towards the end. But as long as they kind of let him do what he kind of tried to do in week 1, just with less turnovers, he needs to be able to rush for at least 60 to 70, get that touchdown, and complement that with a nice, efficient 200-yard game. But he has to cut down on the turnovers. Justin Fields has to be able to, be a little free. It seems like they're trying to hold him back and have him pass and use the weapons that they got. But it doesn't have to be this year. He could get comfortable with them and get them later next year. But they still got to let Justin Fields be Justin Fields. Other than that, yes, Kirk Cousins 7,800. Once again, the most popular game, the highest game total in the slate. I think it's at 53.5 over under right now. Look, you can't forget Lamar. I think with all the popularity, a low on Lamar is something good to go into a GPP. A low on Lamar against Indianapolis. His scrambling ability and his ability to wing the ball deep and short at 8,200 is a very nice play. Once again, I understand it is a popular stack because people just love Tyreek Hill. But I think because of the matchup this week, Tua will probably in the top 5 in ownership, but I don't think he'll be the man in ownership. So stacking him with maybe a popular Tyreek Hill, the only thing you got to worry about is, yes, they did collapse a bit. So here's the thing. Knowing the Broncos, you'll probably play one-on-one with Patrick Surtain, or depending on the defensive coverage, you're going to have to scheme something against Tyreek Hill. Or they do it another way, where they leave Patrick Surtain alone with Tyreek Hill and maybe not spy, but probably shadow coverage Jalen Waddle. Most likely it's going to be Tyreek Hill. So I think when you look at it that way, you might want to be a little light on Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill will break a straight anytime you want. So, but Jalen Waddle, neither guy has a favorable matchup. That's still one of the best secondaries in the league. But GPP wise, this is the week that Tyreek Hill, even with the price, unless people just can't get to him, and I've been building lines, and I haven't got the Justin Jefferson yet, but yet I haven't built Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson stacks as of yet. But if that price is prohibitive, maybe some ownership slides to Tyreek Hill. But I still think that's a game-winning GPP stack compared to what people are going to want to do with the LA-Minnesota game. And then, like I said, also Dak is going to be popular because of that matchup against the worst defense in the league. Like I said, Trevor Lawrence. But I like Jared Goff, Deshaun Watson. I'm thinking more GPP this week. Will I get to the popular stacks? Yeah. And try and get different elsewhere. But there are GPP choices like Jared Goff should be low owned this week. Deshaun Watson will be low owned this week. I think Geno has the opportunity to do something this week. And like I said, I'm liking the CJ Stroud kid. They're letting him throw the ball. That's a game that can accidentally shoot out. Neither one of those defenses, they have some decent defensive pieces in each core, but neither one of these defenses are really that good. And both defenses have blatant weaknesses. So that is a sneaky game where, like I said, I'm going to highlight that man's stats right there. The key right there is 47 and 44 attempts. Sometimes you don't have to look at the yardage on the touchdown, but in CJ Stroud's case, there's a reason why Nico and Robert Woods are looking like decent fantasy options, and the offense is letting Stroud throw, wing that ball, learn on the fly, and he's doing pretty damn good job. He's doing a pretty damn good job so far. And let's finish off this video by going to tight end. Once again, top 2, top 3, and then it drops like a cliff. Travis Kelce, 8,000. Yes, that looks great. TJ Hawkinson against Los Angeles. great matchup, 7,500. Mark Andrews against Indy, great matchup, 7,400. And then, 5,900. It's the same trend since week one. It just drops. This drops off like a cliff. Nobody's in 6,000. Nobody. They got. If ever so far, the main reason why is because tight end is ugly. If Evan Ingram at least caught a touchdown in one of the first couple weeks, I think he'll be at 6,000. He's not. 5,900 against Houston. You got Hunter Henry, who, when it comes to touchdown equity, he's at least the one cashing because he has a touchdown per week. Can he keep it up against the Jets? A bit difficult. But right now, when it comes to tight end, it's a crapshoot. Here's my GPP play. No Jamaal Williams, Keandre Miller, and Tony Jones. You don't think Taysom Hill is going to get some action? He got some action last time. This is GPP play status right here. You don't think he's going to get some quarterback action? I think his Wildcat plays plus other design plays go up a bit. Maybe even a couple plays more. Who knows what he would have been done? Who knows how many more opportunities he would have had if, let's say, Jamaal Williams got injured early first quarter, something like that. Taysom Hill is one of my favorite dart throws this week. I will be getting pieces of him, that's for sure. Hayden Hurst, he's had a solid season. I think another person you should watch out for is David Njoku. David Njoku might see some more targets. Like I said, I don't think they throw everything on the Browns running back core, so I think there's going to be a few more short safety passes. I understand he hasn't done much so far. He's had only 7 targets in 2 weeks. But I think for this week, David Njoku for 5,400, you know David Njoku on the goal line, and especially during the game, if he can at least get 7 to 8 targets, that's all I ask. Just damn near double his target feature with no Nick Chubb. They have a great offensive line. They're going to use it. They're not going to abandon the run. It's not an offensive line. I think it's a very underrated offensive line, to be honest. But with no Nick Chubb, I think there's going to be a few more passes being thrown. Once again, Gerald Everett. Like I said, if that point total goes up, you hope Gerald Everett gets a piece. If I'm paying down, once again, I'm looking at, like I said, Taysom Hill. Sam Laporta, like I said, he's in a great matchup. He's getting targets consistent on 6 and 5. He's you just hope that this is, you just hope that this is the week that Sam Laporta gets into the end zone. If he can get into the end zone, then hey man, you're going to be happy with your squad automatically, because with the original volume that he gets, if he gets a touchdown in week 1, that's what 13 points. If he gets a touchdown in week 2, that's almost 15 points with the 0.5 reception. So Sam Laporta just got to get himself into the end zone one day. Like I said, with garbage time, I like Cole Kmet as a dart throw GBP play. Dalton Kincaid, oh man, that young kid is right there next to Dawson Knox. Hasn't got I don't think he's got the touchdown yet, but he's played well. And I think, like I said, a lot of people was talking about Luke Musgrave. I know I wasn't. Luke Musgrave, that's not on me. After that, man, I like Logan Thomas, but Logan, he just can't stay healthy. In most cases when he gets hurt, he's most likely out or whatever. Talented guy when he's on the field, but just can't stay on the field too much as it is. But I hope you like that quick part 2 rundown. So, like I said, a lot of people priced up all over, but we did get value. So use the value carefully. Once again, when it comes to the new opened up backfield, if you want to take my advice and, roll on a bit of a hot streak, last week I said fade Joshua Kelly. This is the week I say get on Joshua Kelly. Because of their price, you got to get to either the Browns or the Saints. But if you told me for somebody that's playing the 20 and the 25 max $3 and $2 entry, I will have more, obviously, because of the better matchup. I'm definitely gonna have more of the Saints guys than I will have of the Browns. Like I said, I respect the fact that how legit that Tennessee front 7 is. I told people last week that was not the week to get on Joshua Kelly. If you did, I'm sorry. You should have listened to me. It sounds like something that I've always said a lot in life. Nobody listens. But if you just do a little homework and do a little research. Like I said, dart throws are dart throws. But like I said, when it comes to it, you owe yourself to pick who you want to pick. But like I said, it's Saints for me over the Browns. So do with that what you will. I'm pretty sure with more injuries and people, concussion protocols and other things, things will be popping up. Once again, if I guess I could show this. There's my league right there. Right now it's only, small little league, 7 people. But once again, we're looking for more entries. So once again, Legends of DFS ran by YouTube with Grade A Fantasy. We're already setting up for week 3. So once again, put your name in and I can add it. Once I have that saved in the system, you'll automatically be added for week 4. And that's pretty much it. So I hope everybody loved the video. Grade A Sportsbook definitely coming out. Most likely, I like to do it towards the end of the week, whatever the updated lines are, closer to the weekend, like I did last year when I did come out with Grade A Sportsbook. Grade A Sportsbook was normally something like a short. It was mostly like a short video on like a Friday or whatever. So I'll go over like my top 3 to 5 picks or whatever, and maybe throwing some props here and there. That's what I'm looking forward to doing. So other than that, hope you all enjoyed the content in the video. And good luck this week. Once again, pay attention to the news. There's a lot of stuff still not clear yet. So good luck this week. Good luck with your research. This is Grade A Fantasy, signing off.